I know, $1,000 for dinner.
You can also look at this.
All right.
That's
The clay called meeting order. Take the time. Say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
What's that?
Sure.
That's yes, you're going to burn a copy still out. Okay, yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, on the 3 days.
Well, no, I'm sorry. Just back with the
That's why you didn't want to repeat.
Is there a minute tomorrow? Oh.
All right.
They look long. Thank you.
So, when you guys talk to David, I guess what I'm interested in is that inventory. I mean, do we have a feel for what's remaining for the rest?
Not a lot.
Okay. So we took a more educated guess.
I mean, over top of what he wanted, what he definitely needed.
There's X amount of gravel and there's X amount of sand. And then we're adding to that, but you guys are confident that that's a good amount?
He was confident.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I can. He was
Got it from Dr. Alstead. Thoughts, changes?
Just one little extra up. Third paragraph. Tri-Town Recreational Committee was in attendance. He says he hasn't had any problems when he uses the field cup or sock.
That's up for your Okay. I'll put that.
Alright, I'll leave it all thrown into. second page, second and third paragraph, we talked about David not having insurance twice.
Oh, we did?
So the second paragraph talks about him not having insurance because he used to mow with his own
Okay.
equipment, and then we go on down into the next paragraph and say, David applied to UPS, he used to mow it on his own time with his own equipment, so there's no longer there, we just scratch it. And I'll move that we accept those as amended.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. All right, to remind everyone, our proceedings are being broadcast over the internet, will be available on YouTube at some time.
For your viewing pleasure.
And with that, we'll try to get right to our guests before we get into our employees. So, Ken, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
I haven't spoke to you since earlier today.
Exactly.
For the record, Ken and I have known each other for a long time. He lives in Langdon. Ken runs a barbecue business, or has always done some barbecue business and is looking to do more barbecue business.
That is part of it, yes.
To do so, Ken needs to have a commercial kitchen that he can operate out of instead of just doing sort of a homestead kitchen and going down that path because he works with meats. He also do cheesecakes.
That's correct.
Yeah, and that would require another level of kitchen. So he and I have talked, and we have talked with the folks at Friendly Meals about the possible use of the town kitchen, for lack of a better word, since you all own it, and trying to do something that might contribute some revenue towards that, since right now the town pays 100% of the expenses and Friendly Meals uses it. The idea would be that there would be some sort of time-sharing arrangement where Ken or somebody like Ken could use that commercial kitchen and pay to the town some amount of rent to offset the costs of operation. We don't know where or how Friendly Meals is going to move forward. There's been talk of, from talking to them, they would love to have a single building that had a kitchen within it. I think that may be their plan going forward. I don't know. I heard last night that some property may be made available to them in Langdon. So the future use of this is actually sort of in question. So that's what I got for background, and I think most everybody who's been to these meetings has heard all this before. So Ken, what did I get wrong?
Well, not much really. I mean, the dynamics of what I'm faced with at this point have changed pretty dramatically. I mean, we moved up here 3.5 years ago. My primary line of work was being a project manager for a company that specializes in disaster recovery for data centers. And that sounds very ooh-ah, but it's pretty basic stuff. And as of last Monday, they decided to part company with me. And after 17.5 years, I got laid off. So doing a part-time barbecue business and a little bit of part-time cheesecake stuff has turned into, I need to kind of ramp that up now. The plan was that I would do something on weekends, low-key it, but it was something that I could ramp up if I ever needed to, and now I need to, because our goal is to stay here in New Hampshire. Love New Hampshire since I was a kid. I've been coming up here and camping and hiking and climbing the old man in the mountain and doing all those great things since I was in my 20s. So, we want to stay here. We want to be part of the community. As far as Chris, what he said, there's two things that I do. Barbecue, I truly make exceptional barbecue. I think Chris can attest to that, and there's probably a number of other people around here in the community that can do that as well. And I make world-famous cheesecakes. Cheesecakes that I bake were actually juried and picked to be the primary dessert for the grand opening of Studio 54 in New York City, way back when. And they were also juried and picked to be the primary dessert for Jackie Onassis' 50th birthday party.
So Ken, where are the samples?
I'm telling you.
Barbecue and cheesecake.
Thank you for bringing up what we were all thinking.
They are in the works. But, in order to do what I want to do, Chris is right. I need a Chris asked if I could try and get an idea of what other commercial kitchens are going for on an hourly basis. I've made 5 phone calls. I did not get any return calls yet, but I'm still pursuing that. But there's a pretty big difference, I think, because my first attempt was to use the commercial kitchen down in Keene, and they ultimately closed. They weren't able to make a go of it. And I think maybe even the Monadnock one might be gone as well, since their website isn't accessible anymore. But there are 3 or 4 or 5 of them over in the eastern part of the state, near Portsmouth, Nashua, those areas, and those are the ones that I'm reaching out to. One of the advantages that they're able to offer is really state-of-the-art equipment. They offer bulk purchasing of materials, so I can get, so people that use their services can take advantage of the lowest prices from companies like Cisco and other purveyors. But the thing I like about this commercial kitchen possibility is it's 5 minutes from my house. That's phenomenal. So the plan initially was, still is to some degree, is that I have a barbecue concession trailer. If you go up Cheshire Turnpike at all, past the old Merrill Farm, you'll see it there sitting on my property. I'm working with 3 or 4 different companies right now to have that placed somewhere down on Route 12. The idea being that getting some barbecue going and getting that aroma out there will bring in business, and I'm looking to do it with a company that we would augment each other's business. I can bring more business to them, their business brings business to me.
You know, you will have some competition quite a bit for barbecue. There are a number of places around.
Oh, sure. Well, there's the pit stop.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's fine. And
There's 3 maybe?
there's a pit stop that I know of, and there's one down near Brattleboro.
Yeah.
And then there's top of the hill.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And, with no deference to them, I'll put my barbecue against any of them. I've done festivals now for the past 3 years, because one of the advantages of a festival is I don't need a food license, but I want to have something a little more, a little firmer. And I think this community in particular, again, deserves an alternative to dining pizza, which is very, very good. But I think there's a market here.
Okay, so outside of wonderful, go ahead, Steve.
I have a question. When that came into being, kitchen, was the property donated to Friendly Meals, or was it donated to the town? So if Friendly Meals move, will they in fact take their stoves and whatever else they got there?
That's a good question, and that's something we've talked about a little bit, is we're not sure exactly who owns the equipment. I'm under the assumption that the equipment that is in there was donated to Friendly Meals.
Yeah.
And as long as they're there, then that equipment you would think would be there. And we've had that conversation with Mary Lou and others over there about whether they could share equipment. And nobody had any issues with it at that time.
Yeah.
When will they know if they're moving the lines in or not?
I'm saying, in fact, if they do move,
If they do.
will they take the facility with them, or will their donations also include new updated kitchen?
Yeah.
Until the town will own the kitchen.
Friendly Meals don't go on the food shop, might go somewhere else, but that's not the food shop.
Well, their idea is to build a building that would have a kitchen within it.
Food shop, does?
Yes.
I don't.
So they could do food shelf, they could do Friendly Meals, and they could do cooking all the same. But we don't know where that's at. Go ahead, Bobby.
I think before you can do anything, you should make sure whose equipment it is, because even though they say they agree, if the equipment belong to them, or does it belong to the town? That would be the first thing before you make any type of agreement, because it would be pretty sad if it belongs to them, and then all of a sudden something comes through,
Oh, no.
and they can move, and they take everything, and this poor gentleman is already set up.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. We have that question, we discussed this a bit last week. We have the question of insurance, we have the question of what would a commercial lease look like when a town generates it. We have the question of scheduling and having a set schedule where, people know. We have the question of billing. is this something that would be, you know, potentially a flat monthly rate for X number of hours, or is it an hourly rate? You know, we don't have all the answers to any of this stuff.
And the insurance company may have a lot of those answers for you if you talk with them.
What's his timeline?
What's your timeline? How soon are you looking to do something somewhere?
Well, as soon as practical. I mean, I have some equipment on my own that I purchased just to make sure that I didn't get caught with my pants down, because I understand the possibility that they may move out. And, you know, one of the advantages of doing the barbecue business is I need smokers, I need refrigeration, and I need prep area. That's really what I need. So I've got the smokers, I've got some refrigeration, because when Chris gave me a tour of the facility there, it looked a little questionable whether or not there was enough refrigeration and freezer capacity in order to handle my needs. So, you know, there's not much that I need. One of the advantages of this facility is, it's already a licensed kitchen. You know, the water tests have been done, the septic has been taken care of. That's a real plus for me, that I don't have to go through. And at the point in time when I want to submit my application for food licensing, all I need to do would be to say, I have an agreement with the town of Alstead, a copy of your certification for a licensed kitchen, attach that to mine and send it in, and it simplifies the process dramatically.
Are you looking to make a restaurant out of that building?
No,
Just cook.
just cook, prep and cook. No, actually, really just prep mostly and store.
Okay.
What is your insurance that you carry?
I've got a $1 million general liability insurance with Liberty Mutual, and if we came to an agreement that I would attach a rider to that, covering the town of Alstead.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? I think us, I mean, I'm sure you're going to continue to look around and see if there's something more expedient or have alternatives. I think
I am,
you've done
yeah,
that already.
sure.
Yeah. I think we can probably start answering some of the questions, particularly regarding the equipment. I've been doing commercial leases lately, so I can probably rough up a lease. I think a lot of this might be to have another conversation with Mary Lou and the folks over there about the scheduling part, the equipment part, and stuff like that. Do we keep any paperwork here on the kitchen? Or?
We probably do. I'll have to ask Linda where exactly all that stuff is.
Yeah.
Certification, that's a commercial kitchen and everything that he would need for.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything more than what's probably on the wall in a picture frame.
Well, no, I'm sure the state would want to see copies of the most recent water tests. You know, when you're not part of a septic system and you're part of a well system, they want to see those water tests.
Okay. We'll see if we're certified. If not, then we'll try that out. All right. Anybody else? Any questions? If this gets into votes or we start talking about money, I'm going to recuse myself, so it'll be up to you guys anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
What kind of
He likes cheesecake.
Chocolate.
Have you thought about the restaurant that just closed down here? Is that a...
I was there earlier today.
Oh, okay.
So, like I said, you know, I'm going to do everything and anything I have to make sure I'm staying in New Hampshire and staying in this community. We love it here. So that's an option, and I'm going to pursue that as well.
Excellent.
So what are you doing right now? You're going around to different fairs?
Yeah, I'm looking for opportunities. I'm doing 3 festivals this summer. Originally,
So are you signed up for our local festival on July 9th?
Find out.
no, actually not. I could bring
Would you
my.
like to be?
I would be.
Okay, I'll give you the information on the
Great,
way out.
great. I can bring my canopies, my little portable generator, and bring some cheese.
Sorry, I had to.
No, that's okay. That's fine.
Oh,
Yeah, where out of the ordinary was, and I just food.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, thanks a lot for coming by.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Good luck.
Thank you. What a
gone a lot better with a little cheesecake and barbecue.
Really?
It's a little late for that.
Well, and I've got the big festival coming up this weekend. I'm going up into the White Mountains. Last year, I sold 600 pounds of pulled pork barbecue in 5 days.
This Kansas City barbecue?
And next to the.
No, East Tennessee barbecue.
Good odor from
We make our own sauce. The Jack Daniels
Active
based on the
sauce.
sauce. We make our own coleslaw. And I smoke everything myself. I do pulled pork, brisket, boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and baby back ribs. And it is something.
Well, thank you.
And you guys can all try it on Vida's Cool Days, because he's going to be there.
Oh, well, there you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
I'm from Pennsylvania. Lehigh Valley. Where? Well, I lived in Bethlehem for, oh my God, West Lehigh. Lehigh? Yeah, there you go. That's out for anger. North Lehigh.
All right, Ken, ready for your grilling?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Ken. All right, we'll go ahead and move from barbecuing to grilling. How are you, Ken?
Well done.
All right, so I
We
walked
can
in.
start with the grilling.
Okay. You guys were talking about what I was trying to identify, and I guess it was simply this. Do we know how many towns have not built this? Did we have a list of towns that showed up?
I have a list of towns that showed up someplace. There you go. For the 3 buyers. Some of those, it's in Fire Department code. Those numbers are the town numbers.
Okay.
Some of them are from Vermont. They don't bill, we don't bill them. The rest of the towns are from New Hampshire. Some towns will bill, some have already said they won't, and some are still out there in limbo.
Okay.
It's the time thing. Number one, the warden has to do the paperwork when he gets to it. And then the selectmen have to sign off on it with the payment. And then it gets mailed or sent to Concord, where it gets routed to the district ranger that covers this area. When he has a chance, he goes through it, stamps it, and then it comes back to here. Which I also have several more bills that I picked up today. Do you want them now, or do you want them into the system in the normal time
You
frame?
guys can look at them, I just need them back.
Yeah, she's gonna have to take them first anyway, so you can give them.
All right, I'll hang on to them for now.
That is the total wages of what we paid out, so if you wanted to look and.
Well, that gives us the average, and Kim, I'm wondering if you know those town codes by heart. Can you just give me a number of towns that have not billed yet?
I can't because I don't know who has billed. I don't keep track. The only ones I'm keeping track of are the bills, and it's just as a backup for the Caldwell Pond fire.
Okay.
Because that is a billable fire, and I'm going to make sure that you guys follow through and bill on this one, because we've done away with a lot of money in the past where the select board has not pushed the issue.
And by billable, you mean?
Reimbursement.
Right.
Not an exact bill, but a reimbursement for the cost, based on state scale.
Intentionally set.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm not at all opposed to that.
I don't think anybody is, I don't even know why.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, I can tell you who I don't remember seeing bills from, and that would be Ackworth, Gilsum. Have we seen anything from North Walpole?
I'll tell you what, if you can just give us the list of total towns, we could cross-reference that to against, I know, in your code. If you can give us that in English, that'll give us everything we need. Then we can look at what we've received, we know what those are.
That folder has everything.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out how to pay for it, and we don't know how to pay for it unless we know how big the bill is gonna be. That's the problem.
And we're not-
For instance, 3 years ago, we got a bill the year after the fire from another town.
Which is, it is what it is.
Exactly.
But don't think that I'm trying to get an exact number from you, because that's the last thing.
There's no,
Anybody
because I
can.
have no clue as to personnel.
Right.
You know, I have a number of the name of the town that responded,
Yeah.
and I can go back and look and see what they sent for equipment. But nowhere's in there is there amount of manpower.
Right. 1 guy or 20 guys.
Right.
We get it. The only thing we're looking to do is estimate going forward what the potential impact on the budget will be. And we're gonna do that by taking the number of towns that are left out there that we haven't heard from. We're gonna figure out what the average is of what towns have built it so far. We're gonna multiply those two numbers together, and that's gonna be our estimate.
What I will have to do is give you the list for each individual fire
Okay.
as to who was there.
That works.
And I will leave out the Vermont towns.
If they have no impact, then that's fine.
That's correct. And vice versa, if we go to Westminster for a brush fire, or, which we have done in the past, we've gone to Chester and Rockingham, we don't bill them. It's a mutual aid call in that system.
Gotcha. And we certainly don't mind if you go on some calls that are billable.
That's mutual aid.
Well, you sounded the beginning when you said that. He did. The fire people.
All right.
So that folder and that spreadsheet that's on that is current, that is exactly what we have paid. If you guys wanna look at that, and that's all the supporting document
Right.
in there, and we just broke that down. as
The
far
only
as
difference
fire.
is, that number is different from this number.
Probably,
Yeah, that's okay.
because I think we just processed some,
Okay.
We're
so that
estimating.
would, yeah.
So,
Because in this one, we're at 17,000.
yeah.
And what is that one?
15 something.
Round figures 15. And round figures, I've got another 5 here.
Okay, so maybe there's one that didn't make it in there, whether it's.
So we're around 22 so far.
I had Charlotte look that up.
Okay. We can work on that. Thank you. See, we were able to do that. You want to see it?
I don't know.
All right. How's everything else going?
How's the fire station door coming?
Still there, hasn't fallen down yet.
Not good at all.
We found out who we think actually did the original construction,
McMillan.
McMillan, and we found out that they do not have any plans going back that far.
At one point, the plans were here, maybe not all of the plans, and maybe that's the problem, because several years ago, we did look, well, they looked up the main water shutoff, which nobody could find.
And it was in the right spot?
And they found, well, no, they found plans that showed where the water shutoff was,
Okay.
and it was there.
We'll continue to look. What we're seeming to find is the plans that we have were an early set of plans. They're not the as-built plans. And there's distinct differences between what you see when you walk in there as far as those doors go and what's on the plans. So what our assumption is that this will probably need some more engineering, and the engineering will have a cost. Before we can even contemplate expending more money, we need to know how much money do we possibly have left that's coming out of the budget. So it's not that we're not going to do it, it's not that we're going to leave the door where it's at, but right now we've got to identify, we've got to get a grasp on where we're at in the budget as a whole.
Because the new truck right now is scheduled to be here in November.
Nice.
It will not fit in that station.
It will fit
And
in
I
the
am
station.
not gonna take the blame, being the cursor which does everything, is it being put into East Alstead because that's my station. I'm not gonna take the blame for that.
So somebody else will drive it down there.
If it goes normal, I won't drive it at all, or very seldom. Because in-town calls, I normally go direct to the scene. And on mutual aid calls, if I go, I usually ride in a different seat.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. That's going to be what we have left to do, should we not find a solution to this by November.
Well, you can be pretty sure that we won't have a solution by November. Because the to start with, it has to go out to design, and then it's gonna have to go out to bid, and there's no line item to pay for it. We're gonna have to go back to the town.
That's assuming we don't get through all this and look at our expenses and find out that we expect to come in $50,000 under budget for the year,
You still have to have a line item. You still have to have a line.
No, we can move money around within our budget any way we wish.
But where is it in the budget?
It was under
I would
building-
suggest
building repair.
Building repair.
Building
improvements,
building
yeah,
repair.
we have that.
That's fine.
That's all right.
That's where we put the 10,000.
Yep. And that would be, it is under general government.
There's 12,000.
All that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you are absolutely right, but I was not hearing what you were saying. There does have to be a line item that says we're gonna do this for that. Yes, you're correct.
Can I ask you a question? Apparently, each one of these is a separate fire,
No,
so they're.
okay, I don't know that, but I'm guessing that some of those that are multiples are different towns' bills for the same fire.
Different town, built to the town of Alstead,
Billed to the town of
for
Alstead.
the same fire, okay. Where is New Hampshire Route 12A in Marlow?
It's not.
I don't know where that fire location is. It might be in there though.
There is no 12A in Marlow.
So it may be Hillsome or?
No, it would be 12, it may be 12, New Hampshire 12A in Alstead. The bill may be from Marlow,
Oh, from?
but I don't know that.
Yeah,
So that's, all of these are not locations specifically, but they're locations and towns, right?
I'm not sure how she did that, so.
Let me just mark
So-
it so you can see
it
it.
could have just been
This-
what was on the bill,
Yeah.
and that's what
I
she
think
copied
that's what
out.
she did. She did what was on the bill as she's signing, because I know.
The only thing I care about is there's a number